We've got Council Member Barbara Ferraro with Rancho Palos Verdes. We've got Supervisor Hahn with the 4th District. We have Sheriff Luna here this afternoon or this morning. We've got Chief Maroney here with LA County Fire Department. We have Larry Chung with Southern California Edison. We have Michael McGee with Los Angeles County Sanitation District, and we have Ralph Felix with Cal Water District. So before I hand it over to Supervisor Hahn to give remarks, what I'd like to do is just give you a context from the city's perspective of what is happening today. As you know, in less than an hour, Southern California Edison will be de-energizing power to the Portuguese Bend Community Association. That has come after much thought and careful consideration regarding the public's safety. As of yesterday, the city issued an evacuation warning. That evacuation warning was a direct result of environmental health, LA County Environmental Health's concern that was expressed to the city regarding the sewer system in that particular neighborhood. That system is energized by power from Southern California Edison. The city is a customer of Southern California Edison. It energizes our sewer system. It energizes our dewatering wells, which help manage the landslide and the water that's in the ground. It also provides telecommunication facilities, and Southern California Edison is very much aware of it. When LA County Public or Environmental Health mentioned to us that our sewer system will go offline when the power is shut off, that raised a concern regarding a potential sewer spill if people continue to use their water facilities. As a result of that, the city did issue that evacuation warning. Since that time, and that was issued around 3 p.m. yesterday afternoon, the city, in partnership with the residents of the Portuguese Bend Community Association, and I have to underscore how resilient our community is, and the partnership and the collaboration that transpired at the late hour yesterday. We were able, as of this morning, to provide backup generators at 4 lift stations, or actually 3 lift stations, which enable the sewer system to continue to operate while the power is being shut off. In light of that, the city is going to continue to maintain the evacuation warning. We think it's important that residents continue to be prepared. We have been saying that since the city declared a local disaster back in October of 2023. The community needs to be prepared because this is an ever-changing crisis as we navigate through this, and we need to be prepared. That is the only way we can stay safe and prevent any property loss and worse, human loss. So with that, I would like to then hand my remarks over to Supervisor Hahn, but I believe the translator probably wants to translate what I just said.
I'm going to say it brief.
As best as you can, yes.
Yes. Lo que el manejador de la ciudad dijo es que es muy importante que sigan todas las instrucciones. El día de ayer se dio instrucciones para que haga una evacuación para todos los residentes. Como saben, la luz, la electricidad va a ser descontinuada el día de hoy al mediodía. Es muy importante que mantengamos la seguridad y es algo que ha estado pasando y se anunció anteriormente. El día de hoy es muy importante que sigan todas las instrucciones por la seguridad de toda la comunidad. Sabemos que es muy difícil, pero queremos dejarles saber que estamos haciendo todo lo posible. Hay 4 generadores que se obtuvieron para mantener y para poder ayudar a toda la ciudad. Lo que vamos a hacer enseguida, tenemos a los oficiales del condado y de la ciudad que van a hablar. Tenemos a la supervisora Janice Hahn, al alguacil de la ciudad, Robert Luna, al jefe del departamento de bomberos, el jefe Maroney, y también tenemos a la señora Larry Chung de la electricidad de Southern California Edison.
Yes. KNX, of course, yes. Is it going to stay? Sorry, everybody.
Anything for KNX.
Thank you. Okay, that's pretty good.
Good morning, everyone. I am Los Angeles County Supervisor Janice Hahn, and Rancho Palos Verdes is one of the 32 cities that I represent on the Board of Supervisors. I want to first thank everyone who has stepped up and worked quickly, particularly over these last few weeks, and especially over the last few days, to sort through this extreme challenge facing this community. I think we're all learning that there is no playbook for an emergency like this one. We don't have a step-by-step guide to follow, but what we do know is that many families are struggling, are suffering, are feeling great anxiety about what is happening. They are watching their homes, they're watching their streets crumble around them. We do know that school has started, and I understand there's about 40 students that will be impacted by this power shutoff. You know, over the past few weeks, the county family has mobilized to do everything in our power to help. My office, along with our County Office of Emergency Management, our Public Works, our County Fire Department, our County Sheriff's Department, have been working hand in hand with our partners here in the city of Rancho Palos Verdes and with the utility companies to make sure that the residents here are not only safe, but they're able to make sense of what's going on and to plan as much as possible their own path forward. I've been in close contact with Mayor John Cruikshank, who has been a champion for his residents through this entire crisis, making sure that we all know what is going on. He doesn't hesitate to call me at any hour of the day or night asking for specific help from the County of Los Angeles. I want to thank our Fire Chief, Tony Maroney, our Sheriff, Robert Luna, our Director of Public Works, Mark Pastrella, and Kevin McGowan, our Director of Office of Emergency Management, as well as all their teams for working sometimes around the clock for this community. And my office has specifically asked our Sheriff's Department to increase patrols of this area, and Captain Guerrero of the Lomita Station has assured us that her deputies will be keeping a close eye on any evacuated properties. And we also have our Internal Services Department. We're asking them for help, and they are remaining on standby for any additional help with generators if the city needs them. We're sparing no expense because a crisis of this magnitude is not something any city should face on their own, and I think that's the message you're going to keep hearing from city officials. This is bigger than Rancho Palos Verdes. This land movement is so gigantic and so damaging that one city or one homeowners organization should not have to bear this burden alone, which is why the county stands ready. I've committed an additional $5 million to the city to respond to this disaster. I think originally that money was going to be used for a draining project, but not sure if even that project is now big enough to handle this, and maybe you want to use those funds in another way to respond to this disaster. But, you know, we also continue to call on Governor Newsom to come to the city and see this for himself. I think if he came here and saw the buckling streets, the buildings sinking and cracking apart, and now 140 families may be forced to leave their homes because it's unsafe for them to have the basic services that we all depend on, power, gas, sewer lines, I think he would understand the urgency of this request. And yes, this landslide has been moving for decades, but the acceleration that's happening currently is beyond what any of us could have foretold, and it demands more response from the state, more response from the federal government. I do understand that his office, the Governor's Office of Emergency Management, is going to try to wrangle some FEMA folks to maybe come here and also see what they can do to help. It's a crisis and it's getting worse by day, and an emergency declaration by the state, I think, would unlock some critical financial assistance for the residents who live here. In the meantime, there's going to be an emergency assistance center here at the Ladera Linda Community Center, which opens today, and our county departments will be here to provide assistance to the residents. Most of us can't imagine what it's like to be warned to leave your home because the land under your feet is shifting. That's devastating for these families, and this is far from over. But we will be here, the County of Los Angeles will be here 24/7 to make sure that these residents have every tool they need to navigate this crisis. And we want them to know that they're not going to go through this alone. Thank you.
Soy la supervisora Hahn y represento al Distrito 4. Una de las 32 ciudades que represento es el Rancho Palos Verdes y sé que es una situación muy difícil. Lo que les puedo decir es que he estado hablando con el personal de las diferentes oficinas del condado, del departamento de bomberos, de los alguaciles, de servicios internos y todo lo que se necesita. También he acomodado $5 millones para proveer la ayuda que necesitan y para seguir ayudando. También vamos a hablar con el gobernador porque es muy importante que mire que esto es más que todo del condado, pero también se necesita ayuda financiera, no únicamente del estado, también federal. Estoy hablando con la Oficina de Servicios de Manejo de Emergencias para ver si se puede obtener fondos adicionales por lo que se llama FEMA, que son fondos que generalmente son alocados para servicios de emergencia. También vamos a tener un centro aquí comunitario donde van a haber diferentes servicios e información para la comunidad. Pero lo importante, quiero que sepan, es que vamos a estar aquí proveyendo la ayuda porque es algo que no nos podemos imaginar qué tan difícil es tener que dejar su casa y vivir en condiciones que son muy difíciles.
Our next speaker, I'd like to introduce Los Angeles County Sheriff Robert Luna.
Well, good morning. Before I start off with just some highlighted comments, I do look at the residents here, and I don't even know what to say other than we're here to support you in any which way we can. And I know as we continue to move forward, every tough decision that we have to make, I can guarantee you we're not just doing it. If it's something we have to do, it is based on your safety, lives, which I hope it never comes to that. But I can tell you this, that your city, every time we've talked to your officials, they are representing all of you and your voices. So just please know that for sure. The LA County Sheriff's Department, the men and women of the LA County Sheriff's Department have been very engaged in this for months now. They've been doing as good as we can, interacting, doing the job that we need to do, and we will continue to do that as we move forward. So our role in this is to be at the table with our Office of Emergency Management, and Kevin McCowan, who I've been talking to a whole lot, especially the last 48 hours, is out here. So I'd like to thank him and all of the members of the Office of Emergency Management with all the hard work they're doing. And we're communicating and listening to all the departments and infrastructure groups that are involved here, whether it's Edison, the gas company, sewage and water. And we're paying very close attention to what do we believe is going to happen next. And the supervisor said it best. The playbook isn't as black and white as other incidences or events that we deal with. So it is evolving and it is fluid. But for us, working with the city, with the evacuation warning, and then always there ready for that to turn to an order. And we'll make sure that we do everything to work with all of our partners, with the residents, to make sure that we're working together, communicating and coordinating. But if I can stress anything to our residents, please be ready to evacuate. I hope it doesn't come down to that, but you've got to be ready at a minute's notice. Make sure you have the proper paperwork, medications, that you just have a plan to communicate. And if and when that order comes, you please be ready to roll with that. Right now it's a warning. The warning is to be ready, and we'll do that as well. Now, in regards to a significant concern, as residents may be leaving as a result of this warning and or in a pending order, please be assured that our department is going to do everything we can to make sure these properties are safe. We have had issues in the past. Not only will we add additional resources to this area, but this morning I did authorize the use of drone usage for this specific area. We only do that under circumstances where emergencies are occurring, and we approve that. So when you look up in the sky, there's going to be an extra eye up there. And my next message is for anybody out there, because I'm looking at the cameras now, that is even thinking about coming to this area to impact it in a negative way. If you think you're going to come here and further negatively impact the residents of this area, you've got something else coming to you. These deputies are awesome at the work they do. They are ready to arrest you. You're going to go to jail if you come here to steal anything. Do not think about it. Don't even go there. That's a very important factor as we move forward. And for any of you who think, or you're hearing something, or you see something out of that's suspicious, please let our deputies know. And I really do want to give a huge hand to Captain Kim Guerrero, who is the captain of the Lomita station that covers this area. She's been doing a great job, and she will continue to do so. So with that, I am going to turn it over to our next, I'm sorry, there's a translator who's going to translate for me. And for all the Spanish stations, I will do Spanish stuff for you guys right at the end. Thank you. Sorry.
Primero me gustaría empezar para hablarle a los residentes de la comunidad y dejarles saber que eso es muy importante y que estamos haciendo todo lo que se puede para mantener los seguros. Estamos en comunicación con todos los departamentos, con la oficina de manejo de emergencias para poder asegurarnos que esté bien. Pero también quiero pedirles que si llega la orden de evacuar, que por favor lo hagan inmediatamente. También tengan un plan, tengan todos sus documentos, medicamento y otra información que sea de suma importancia para todos. El departamento de los alguaciles está organizado y va a proveer recursos adicionales para proveer para que todas las casas estén seguras en caso de que tengan que salir y que todo tenga que estar dejado, tienen que dejar sus pertenencias. También les quiero asegurar que vamos a tener recursos adicionales como el drone, que es para arriba y que va a ser algo adicional que únicamente se aprueba en casos de emergencia, y en este caso ha sido aprobado. También me gustaría dejarles saber a todos aquellos que si piensan venir aquí a la ciudad a causar mal impacto, a causar robos o tratar de hacer algo, el departamento y nuestros oficiales van a asegurarse de que se tomen medidas incluso que se puedan arrestar. Así que por favor no vengan, tenemos suficiente con lo que tenemos ahorita. Es muy importante mantener la seguridad de todos los residentes de la ciudad.
I'm not sure what you said, but if you were able to repeat what the sheriff has said, you're pretty remarkable. So, and I do want to thank Sheriff Luna and Captain Guerrero, they've been remarkable and ensuring me, the city council, and the residents of Rancho Palos Verdes that they will be safe under these unprecedented conditions. So thank you very much for your commitment and having that presence both on the ground and in the air, because if you're looking to come here and cause any disruption, don't even think about it, as the sheriff said, because you will not get away with it. Our next speaker is with Los Angeles County Fire Department. I'd like to introduce Chief Maroney.
You may want to adjust the microphone. Yeah. I'll move it up just a little bit. So good morning. My name is Anthony Maroney. I'm the Fire Chief of the County of Los Angeles Fire Department. The first thing I'd like to do is thank Supervisor Hahn for allowing the fire department to be here with our county family as we share with the impacted residents the fire department's plan for emergency response following the necessary electrical shutoff today at noon. Let me just state once again the necessary electrical shutoff. From a public safety standpoint, Southern California Edison is doing the right thing, because our number one priority is not only resident and community safety, but also the safety of our first responders. And I implore all of the residents to please heed the evacuation warning that has been issued by the LA County Sheriff's Department and get ready for a potential evacuation order if it is necessary that would affect the Portuguese Bend Community Association neighborhood. I recognize how difficult and overwhelming this devastating and continuing land movement has been for the residents of the Rancho Palos Verdes community over the past year. Our primary objective at the fire department is to ensure the continued safety for all residents. The shifting roadways continue to impact and increase response times, and in some cases make access impossible. Additionally, due to the recent sewage spill and the fire near Narcissus Drive that damaged electrical equipment, power is being shut off to ensure public safety. To keep up with the rapid pace of land movement that's been occurring since 1956, which is moving 88 times faster than it was in October of 2022, and the increased wildfire risk due to the potential of a utility pole or electrical lines coming down, the County of Los Angeles Fire Department has done three things. We've, at the request of Supervisor Hahn, we've added daily jurisdictional surveys for personnel assigned to Fire Station 53 in RPV to ensure public safety access is possible. We've added a four-wheel drive patrol to the area to make sure that we can get in if someone has a fire or a medical emergency. If access is not possible, fire station personnel will make necessary notifications and try to mitigate issues to ensure that public safety access is maintained. The surveys also include the patrol of the area, and any additional equipment needed will be requested to maintain the safety of residents, the community, and our first responders. In addition to the patrol that was requested by Supervisor Hahn, we've also added a 2,000-gallon water tank, a water tender, which can respond to the area in case the water supply is damaged or broken. We know that this movement can also disrupt not only the natural gas, which previously had to be shut off, but also the electrical, the sewage, and the water. We've worked collaboratively with the city of Rancho Palos Verdes to negotiate with the York Estate to utilize the York driveway off of Palos Verdes Drive South to provide a faster way into the community. If you suffer a medical emergency while the power is out and you have difficulty calling 911,
We want to make sure that we can get there as quickly as possible, because during a medical emergency, minutes are going to matter. And that is one reason why we're asking everybody to be prepared for an evacuation order if it were to come. And then with the evacuation warning in effect for the Portuguese Bend community, I encourage all residents to use the Know Your Zone evacuation tool. The Know Your Zone evacuation tool is critical to the evacuation process. If there is a wildfire or emergency, such as an uncontrollable land movement, navigating the Know Your Zone map provides timely, critical information and can help you determine next steps. I want to assure the residents that Acting Assistant Fire Chief Brian Kane and I will continue to collaborate with Supervisor Hahn, city officials, our public safety partners, and the utility companies to ensure the safety of the residents, the community, and our first responders. Thank you.
Buenos días una vez. Es muy importante que, como ustedes saben, han tenido el aviso de evacuación, pero en cualquier momento puede volverse una orden, así que es muy importante que la sigan. Lo que ha pasado, el descontinuar la electricidad, es por seguridad, no únicamente por seguridad para los residentes del área, pero también para todas las otras personas, pero también para los bomberos, los que responden a todas las emergencias. Hemos tomado todas las medidas necesarias para agregar recursos para poder estar disponibles con todos ustedes. Hemos estado trabajando las 24 horas para responder a cualquier emergencia. Por favor, sigan las instrucciones, ya que cuando hay una llamada de emergencia, los minutos cuentan para esa llamada. Así que, por favor, sigan las instrucciones. Nuestro esfuerzo es de proveer todo lo que se pueda, información. Todo el tiempo trabajamos con la ciudad, con el condado y con todas las otras organizaciones para que ustedes puedan tener toda la información. Pero por favor, es muy importante que sigan las instrucciones. La orden es ahorita únicamente, no es una orden, es un aviso, pero como saben, la electricidad va a ser descontinuada porque todo ha sido afectado, incluso el agua. Por favor, sigan todas las instrucciones.
And Chief Maroney and to Chief Kane, thank you. The city is very grateful and appreciative of all the added resources that you brought to our community and all the constant communication. It's greatly appreciated. We feel a lot safer knowing that we have those added resources at Station 53, which is right down the street. So, our next speaker is from Southern California Edison, the Vice President of Customer Engagement Division, Larry Chung, who I had the pleasure to meet just like a couple days ago, and we've been talking consistently since Wednesday, and I appreciate everything that your transparency and all your partnerships, so thank you, Larry.
Thanks very much. As Ara mentioned, my name is Larry Chung. I'm the Vice President of SE's Customer Engagement Division. I really want to just start by saying that Southern California Edison recognizes just how devastating it's been for many of the city's community members as the land moves at this unprecedented pace, in some areas up to a foot per week. I myself have been in the Portuguese Bend community, and I've seen even small things like the road changing from even yesterday. So we understand how dynamic the situation is, and I do want to thank Supervisor Janice Hahn for her leadership. I can assure you she's been in contact with our company and fighting for the residents of not just Rancho Palos Verdes, but the entire county of Los Angeles. So I want to say thank you to Supervisor Hahn for pushing us to be better and making sure that we're looking at every possible option for this community, and for what Chief Maroney and Sheriff Luna are doing, as well as our Iranian with the city. It's been a collaboration. It is unprecedented, and as you've heard before, there is no playbook for this. Edison never wants to turn off the power to a customer unless it's absolutely necessary. And as you've heard from the previous speakers, in this case, it is absolutely necessary. We have an obligation not only to serve, but a higher obligation to ensure the safety of our community, of our customers, of the residents here in the RPV area. And the land movement in the Portuguese Bend community has created such a dangerous situation that we have made the very difficult decision to disconnect power indefinitely to prevent that equipment from igniting wildfire. You've heard an example of this danger just a few days ago on August 29th, the fire that occurred near Narcisa Drive. The land movement caused a power line to fall to the ground and ignite a small fire. While the fire was quickly extinguished, I want to thank again Chief Maroney and your crews for doing that. It shows that the mitigation measures we have currently in place are not sufficient to address the dynamic nature of this land movement. So that is why we've made the decision to disconnect service in the Portuguese Bend Community Association. As I mentioned, our highest obligation is the safety of our community and the safety of our residents. That doesn't mean that we're not doing everything possible to mitigate this. In fact, we're closely monitoring the land movement as a participant of the RPV Landslide Complex Working Group with the city and other first responders. We're maintaining regular communication and collaboration with the entities speaking here today. And we're going to stay in touch with our customers. We understand how much of a hardship this is, and we care about our community, we care about our customers. The land movement situation here in the Palos Verdes Peninsula remains dynamic. If the company must shut off power to more customers, that is something that we're going to have to make a decision to do, and we're going to do our best to provide as much notification as possible and as can be done safely, recognizing the dynamic nature of this particular emergency. So with that, I want to reiterate again our commitment to safety, our commitment to the community, and that this decision was not taken lightly. It's something that we've considered greatly in partnership with a lot of the public service agencies and entities, including the city. So with that, thank you very much. Sure. Larry Chung, Larry Chung.
And your title?
Vice President of Customer Engagement Division with Southern California Edison.
Quiero dejarles saber que la decisión de descontinuar la electricidad no fue únicamente una decisión hecha sin tener toda la información necesaria. Sabemos que el movimiento de la tierra ha continuado y continúa, así que estamos monitoreando, estamos supervisando todo a todo el tiempo para asegurarnos que se pueda, que estemos seguros, no solo ustedes, la comunidad, pero todas las personas que están aquí. Por el momento hemos descontinuado en la península, pero si tenemos que hacerlo en otras áreas, lo vamos a tener que hacer para mantener la seguridad de la comunidad, la ciudad y todos los que viven aquí. Sé que es algo muy difícil y algo que yo no puedo ni siquiera imaginar cómo es pasar por esta información, pero lo que les pido es que por favor sigamos la información, sigamos las regulaciones, tenemos que estar seguros y así evitar todo. También le agradeció al alguacil Luna, a la supervisora Hahn y al jefe de los bomberos por todos los esfuerzos que han puesto aquí en la ciudad y que van a seguir continuando con los diálogos con la ciudad para proveerles los mejores servicios.
I'd like to introduce our next speaker, which is Los Angeles County Sanitation District Public Information Officer Michael McGee.
Good morning, everyone. I'm going to ask the translator to join me up here. Our information's a little bit technical, and we want to make sure everybody understands clearly and concisely what we're about to communicate. So I will allow the translator to follow me immediately. But the LA County Sanitation Districts, again, my name is Michael Chee, C-H-E-E. I'm the Public Information Officer for LA County Sanitation Districts. The sanitation districts, along with everyone here, acknowledges the extraordinary and difficult situation we are all facing. Our agency is as concerned as everyone here about what the future holds, and we sympathize with those lives that are being so dramatically impacted at this time. I'd like to take this opportunity to educate and explain how the water and sewer system in this area works so everyone understands, because the actual system of sewers and sewer lines in this area can be very confusing.
Quiero dejarles saber que soy del Departamento de Sanitación y lo importante que es seguir todas las indicaciones que se pueden seguir. El día de hoy les voy a dar paso por paso cuáles son esas indicaciones que todos ustedes deben de seguir.
Here in the Rancho Palos Verdes area, residential and business lines from homes and buildings that connect to local sewer lines, those lines can be operated and maintained either by the city or our friends at LA County Public Works. All wastewater that travels through these local lines makes its way to the LA County Sanitation District's, my agency's, main trunk lines that transport all the wastewater from homes and businesses in this region out of this area and down to one of our wastewater treatment plants where it is safely and appropriately processed.
Toda el agua y todo lo que pasa por todos los canales de esta ciudad termina en canales donde se pueden procesar y pueden ser seguros y manejados por el Departamento de Sanidad.
To keep things simple, it's easier to note that all water that is flushed down a toilet, goes down a sink, shower, bathtub, or washing machine drain ends up in our trunk lines to be taken out of Palos Verdes. We maintain wastewater flow and structural integrity of those pipes. It was one of these pipes, which is made of 14-inch diameter steel, that pulled apart last week 6 feet below ground at the intersection of Narcissa and Palos Verdes Drive South, resulting in a small spill.
Vamos a hacerlo simple. Todo el agua que corre por el lavadero, por el toilet, pasa por todo el tramo de seguridad. Lo que pasó la semana pasada es que una de las pipas se rompió como de 14 pulgadas y eso fue lo que causó causó algo que no es de beneficio para la comunidad.
Fortunately, our construction crews responded to and repaired that damage quickly, and the resulting release of wastewater caused no significant health risks or damage. But that's a small preview of hopefully something we don't see in this area. Our wastewater flow moves using good old gravity, with some assistance from mechanical pumping stations along its path to help keep wastewater moving over rises and other areas where gravity cannot do the job.
Afortunadamente nuestro equipo recuperó, hizo todo lo que tenía que hacer para que no se contaminara el agua y no pasara a mayores y no contaminara todo lo que pasa y así causar algún impacto en nuestra salud.
Our pipes are not pressurized, but our pump stations do require power to keep wastewater moving. Normally, this is a process no one sees or cares about and most of us take for granted, but wastewater is flowing constantly, even as we stand here and speak.
Las pipas no tienen ninguna clase de presión, mas sin embargo el agua sigue corriendo y es algo que nosotros ni siquiera nos imaginamos. Ahora que estamos aquí, el agua sigue corriendo y no sabemos qué es lo que está pasando en lo que está ahí abajo.
I need to be very clear and direct. LA County Sanitation is in no better position to predict when and where our pipes may break or be compromised due to the dynamic land movement we are all seeing. The ground here is moving everywhere, at the surface and below ground, as demonstrated by our current emergency repair work and last week's spill incident.
Quiero ser muy claro, el Departamento de Sanidad no sabe cómo y cuándo se están moviendo las pipas, ni tampoco cuándo va a pasar. Así que puede causar cualquier cosa, puede pasar en cualquier momento debido al movimiento que está ocurriendo.
We are dealing with incomprehensible amounts of earth with unimaginable movement, pulling our infrastructure in ways that it is not designed or intended to move or resist this level of dynamic activity.
Estamos lidiando con un movimiento que es increíblemente está moviéndose rápidamente y no sabemos cómo está ocurriendo minuto a minuto.
If the sanitation district sewer lines were to suffer a catastrophic failure, there will be no notice. Our agency cannot say there is a zero chance of this happening. If it does, Our job will be to immediately activate our emergency response plan, which is posted on our homepage for anyone to see on our website. That address is LACSD, SAM as in Sam, S as in Sam, LACSD, If such an event should happen, there will be an immediate and dramatic need for larger pumper vacuum trucks to fan out and travel across Palos Verdes to capture and transport wastewater to the nearest working portions of our sewer lines.
Si hubiese un movimiento catastrófico, nosotros no les podríamos dar un aviso, sino que inmediatamente tendríamos que activar nuestro plan de emergencia y así a poder trabajar y asegurarnos de que todo lo que está pasando no impacte a la comunidad. Tenemos toda la información en nuestra página web.
So to emphasize, this would be a physical capture and transport process conducted by large tanker trucks that will need to run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week in the event of a catastrophic failure. So just as residents have been warned for the need to possibly evacuate, this is our warning concerning what would happen in the event of a catastrophic failure. This will create traffic issues and delays in this region. The details about what roads were likely to be impacted are posted on our webpage at the site I gave you, lacsd.org, along with the map of the residential areas that will be impacted.
Una vez más, si algo catastrófico ocurre, quiero dejarles saber que va a ser todo de inmediato. Lo que estoy avisando le estoy dando un aviso, ya que en ese momento lo tenemos que activar. Van a haber tanques que van a tener que estar moviendo el agua, van a haber muchos compromisos en caso de que eso pase, porque el tráfico va a estar muy fuerte. Si quiere más información, está todo en el mapa, todo está escrito en la página web. También hay mapas donde está toda la información en las diferentes calles donde puede mover.
So wastewater is flowing now. It continues to flow. Our sewer system remains in operation, and our crews are doing everything, including working emergency work, to make sure those sewers continue to flow. But this is a lot of wastewater moving through the system when it's working properly, and something most of us don't even think about when water goes down the drain. But wastewater does not magically disappear. It travels somewhere and ends up somewhere. Wastewater follows the rules of simple physics. If it cannot get to where it should go safely, which is what it is doing now, it will accumulate at low points or get backed up, and as a result, may result in sewage releases and flows where no one wants them.
El agua que utilizamos sigue corriendo día a día, momento a momento, y es por eso que tenemos que estar muy atentos a todo lo que está pasando para poder asegurarnos que le podemos dar todos los servicios. Si algo catastrófico pasa, va a ser algo que tenemos que hacerlo de inmediato. Es algo que no pensamos día a día. Utilizamos el agua, pero no sabemos para dónde va. Pero realmente el agua se puede quedar estancada y puede causar alguna presión.
Sanitation Districts is and will continue to work closely with county and city staff and their resources to communicate and keep this community informed, but we implore all residents and businesses to be ready and responsive to minimizing impacts to public health and the environment if we should encounter such a catastrophic event in the future. We hope not to reach such a moment, but we must be ready to face it.
Mi departamento de Sanidad Pública va a continuar trabajando con todos los departamentos de la ciudad, del condado, para asegurarnos de que ustedes puedan tener todos los servicios. Pero quiero, por favor, que mantengan todo esto en mente porque es muy importante. Es un aviso y si tiene que descontinuarse, no van a haber avisos porque tiene que hacerse inmediatamente.
Thank you. Thank you, Michael. And just to reiterate, the city's sewer system that's in the Portuguese Bend Community Association connects directly to the LA County Sanitation District. And when Environmental Health informed us of the concern that if our sewer system was inoperable, there could be a potential health risk because of the backflows and possible sewer spills. So we appreciate that continued collaboration and the communication. The sanitation district's been by our side for for a long time and helping us navigate and monitoring the situation. Our next speaker is with Cal Water District. It's Ralph Felix with the Rancho Dominguez District. So thank you.
Good morning. My name is Ralph Felix, District Manager, California Water Service Company, Rancho Dominguez District. First and foremost, I want you to know that California Water Service Management and employees are focused on our customers in the Portuguese Bend area during this very difficult and challenging time. Like other utilities, we have been responding to this emergency around the clock for many months, and we remain committed to supporting our customers in the neighborhood. The land movement in the area continues to cause our water mains and services to separate or deflect, causing leaks, and we have been repairing leaks as they occur and will continue to do so. Based on the present circumstances, we expect to continue water service to the community, both residents in their homes and for fire protection. Our water system facilities that serve Portuguese Bend are on a separate electrical grid. As we continue to provide service, we have leak detection technology and crews who remain in the area 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to identify and address leaks quickly. The above ground water mains have been installed in certain areas are helping to reduce the instances of main leaks caused by the land movement. We will continue to monitor the situation closely in coordination with our community and utility partners and will provide updates to our customers as needed. Thank you.
El Departamento de Agua de Rancho Domínguez, quiero asegurarles que todos nosotros y los empleados están enfocados en traer y proveerles todos los servicios. Estamos monitorando todo lo que pasa con el agua porque cualquier gotera, cualquier agua que no esté pasando por las pipas que son necesarias puede causar algún problema. Nuestro compromiso hacia todos ustedes es de que el agua, que todo lo que está pasando, nosotros lo estamos monitoreando, seguimos trabajando con la ciudad y con las otras entidades para que ustedes estén seguros.
So we're near the end of the remarks and then opening it up for Q&A. But before I do that, I've got two council members here, Councilmember Dave Bradley and Barbara Ferraro, and I want to invite you up if you'd like to say any remarks.
Hello, I'm Barbara Ferraro, council member of Rancho Palos Verdes, and no one ever thought we'd have to have a meeting like this. I appreciate all of you coming. We're doing our absolute best for our residents. I want to thank our staff especially. Ara is the city manager who should get a medal for all that he's done. I mean, after all, we're here on Labor Day weekend. But also our staff, the members of our staff are here as well. And we want to do everything we can to help our residents. This is unprecedented. No one knows really, in a way, what to do. And so I thank all of you for being here. We thank our staff for being here and for our, let's see now, the people that have spoken, our chief, our fire chief, our sheriff, and
Our county supervisor.
Janice. Yes, we have great supporters, but we need your help as well to help the people get through this. Thank you all for coming.
Well, it's almost good afternoon. I'm Dave Bradley, one of the other city councilmen here in the city of Rancho Palos Verdes. I do thank everybody for coming out and in this really difficult time, and thank you for paying attention to our small city here on the coast. This is and continues to be an existential crisis for the city of Rancho Palos Verdes. We have the most active landslide in North America, and we need to come up with real solutions to help both our current residents and also retard the landslide as much as possible. I mean, our hearts go out to our neighbors, our friends, and our residents here within the city that have been directly affected, both in Portuguese Bend, the Beach Club, as well as Seaview right behind us. These type of movements is really unprecedented, and we really need to come together to come up with real solutions on how we're going to solve this. We've talked a lot about today about the current crisis and the de-energizing of the power system within Portuguese Bend, but we have been working on long-term solutions for actually over a year now to try to come up with ways to retard the landslide. I really call on everyone to come together to help us, both at the federal level. We need FEMA, we need the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers to come help us. At the state level, we need California Office of Emergency Services to come help us. We need help from the county, which Supervisor Hahn has continued to offer up. But we need everybody to come together. We need funds now to help both our residents that have been directly affected today, as well as to help us get the water out of the landslide area and really start to retard the movement. As most people know, within the local area and outside the area, probably not, that we are repaving Palos Verdes Drive South almost on a weekly basis now. The movement has accelerated dramatically over the last 12 months, where some areas are moving up to 10 inches a week. If you can imagine 10 inches a week, you can almost see the ground move. Anybody that drove along Palos Verdes Drive South this morning to get here or is going to leave, please look at that road. That is the most active repaving road that you will ever see. We almost do it as we start repaving one end, and by the time we get to the other end, we're paying our contractor to start repaving again. This is becoming a major line item in the city's budget, and the dewatering wells that we're trying to install and continue to monitor and to facilitate becomes one of the major funding priorities within the city. So we asked at federal, the state, the county level for help. We are in an existential crisis. We need to help our residents that have been affected now, and we need to come up with real solutions to help mitigate this in the future, to allow our residents to get back into their homes, allow the folks to continue to live and thrive within the city of Rancho Palos Verdes. I thank everybody for coming out today. I thank all of our folks from our utilities, as well as Sheriff Luna and Chief Maroney for coming out and paying attention to our small city. Hopefully in the future we can have them back out here for a more positive press conference on things that go right, as opposed to, once again, things that are really kind of going south and going in the wrong direction. But thank you all for coming out.
And last but not least, I do want to thank Supervisor Hahn for your responsiveness and your attention to this matter since the beginning. Thank you, and a huge shout out to Mark Pastrella with Public Works, Kevin McGowan. I think, Kevin, I'm on the phone with you constantly, and I really appreciate your guidance with LA County OEM. I could attest that LA County is in good hands, knowing that you're there to respond to any emergency, whether it's a landslide, earthquake, fire. So thank you for your guidance. And I'd be remiss if I didn't thank the RPV staff. We're a mid-sized city, but a small city hall. I've got 70 plus full-time staff and an executive team of just a handful of players, and we have been working around the clock, and that's because we stand united with our community, with the residents. We feel very strongly about the quality of life our residents experience and live in Rancho Palos Verdes. And I want to say this very loud and clear to the residents of Rancho Palos Verdes. Remember, we are resilient. We are RPV together, and that togetherness will get us through this crisis. So thank you for coming out. I'm going to open it up for Q&A. What I'd like to do is please direct your question. I'll stand up here, direct your question to the individual you'd like to speak to, and I'll call that person up. So, yes.
Hi, Emily Valdez, Canaan. So what if residents don't leave or they can't afford to leave? They still have to pay their mortgages. All this is happening. I just see how some people will not be able to go rent an apartment while they're still having to pay for their mortgage.
Understood. There is a huge financial burden that is put on residents because of this, as they're watching the damage occur to their structures. I want to reiterate what I said at the very beginning of my remarks. The city evacuation is at a warning at this point. No one's being ordered to leave their properties. So we are advising residents that they should continue to be prepared in the event they have to leave.
Well, what if they come to the point where they do have to leave and they can't afford to?
So we had advised residents to contact their insurance companies, because many times when there is an evacuation warning or order, their insurance policies may be able to cover that. But every insurance policy is very specific, so they should reach out to their individual agent to get some more information on that.
You've been listening to county officials giving an update from Rancho Palos Verdes. We will have much more on this developing story beginning at 5 p.m. on KCAL News Channel 2 and streaming on CBS News Los Angeles.